The Middle East program at CSIS is releasing a new report on international aid and peacebuilding efforts in the Middle East and North Africa. It's called Powering Recovery, Reform, Reconstruction and Renewables in Conflict-Affected States in the Arab World. This report explores what international actors can do to support the provision of more reliable and cheaper electricity for the tens of millions of people across the region who live in conflict-affected environments. Civilians in these states suffer from debilitating electricity outages. In Lebanon, many Lebanese only get 1 or 2 hours of power from the state each day. And without electricity, civilians aren't able to keep their food cool, they can't pump drinking water, and they can't even keep lights on in their homes. Outages exacerbate humanitarian crises. They cripple local economies and undermine education and healthcare systems. International donors have spent tens of billions of dollars on electricity in Middle Eastern states that have experienced conflict. But those efforts have failed. Iraqis, Lebanese, Libyans, and Yemenis still don't have access to reliable electricity today. Generators and power lines have been stolen, attacked, and gone into disrepair. And corruption in the electricity business has actually prolonged conflicts. Political elites in these environments actually benefit from electricity crises during conflicts and in their aftermath. They can use the uneven provision of electricity to reward their allies and undermine their rivals. And they also make huge amounts of money from fuel imports and from forcing civilians to rely on informal but very expensive systems of electricity provision. And the problem for international donors is that these political elites are the people they usually engage with. We interviewed more than 170 policymakers, experts, and activists. And we traveled across the region, from rural Lebanon to the old city of Mosul, which was destroyed during the fight against the Islamic State group. We learned that people who live in war zones often improvise on their own with renewable technologies. Solar gives families and communities access to more reliable and affordable electricity. The use of solar technology doesn't require trucking in fuel. It's more resilient to conflict dynamics. It's less attractive for aspiring monopolists, and of course, it's better for the environment. Using renewable technologies like solar in conflict-affected environments creates a whole set of virtuous circles. They create more resilient systems of electricity provision, bolstering the restoration of services and livelihoods. They can fuel local economic development, establish the foundations of better governance, and set societies on a pathway of greater environmental sustainability. We need to pull back and think about what we're doing. One of the recommendations in the report is that rather than rebuilding pre-existing power stations long after fighting has stopped, international donors should consider investing earlier in small-scale renewable projects. If they can work with central governments, they should insist on reforms that facilitate the integration of renewable energy. If they can't, there is still a lot these donors can do at the local level. They can build on local adaptations, experiment with different methods of electricity provision, and encourage others to replicate successful models. Even in the most challenging environments, renewable energy can power recovery. To read the full report, please visit csis.org.